Why real estate investing is great for beginners. Hey, it's Brennen back here in Seattle, and today we're going to be talking about why real estate investing is great for beginners. If you're at the start of your journey and you want to know where to invest, real estate can be a really great choice for you. And today we're going to go through why that might be the case. So today we're going to talk about the benefits of investing in real estate, the types of real estate investments that you can invest in. Then we're going to talk about how you get started with real estate investing, and then also some common mistakes to avoid. So without further ado, let's jump right into why real estate investing is great for beginners. Real estate can be a really great investment. It is a great way to hedge your bets against other investment vehicles. Real estate is not necessarily for everyone. I don't recommend it for people who are looking for a short-term investment or who may have a life circumstance that changes what they're looking for or how they want to invest in the next 5 or so years. You know, you want to think about real estate as a long-term investment. When you compare real estate to inflation, the average inflation, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, is about 3.7% over the past 50 years. Now compare that, for example, to real estate in 2020. In the US, it increased by 12.9%, and that's the largest average annual increase we've seen since about 2013. So while that's not going to be the increase every single year, you can see how a single year in real estate, holding real estate, may be double, triple, almost quadruple what you would see in terms of inflation. Again, as I mentioned, real estate is not the only thing that you can invest in, and I don't recommend it for short-term investors for this reason, is you may not see that net return right away just from 1 year. So you do have to think about this as a long-term investment, but it can be great to hedge your bets against other investment vehicles. Now, on top of that, real estate does have other benefits outside of just financial. A study by the Urban Institute found that children who are in a home that's owned or that see home ownership, it has a positive impact on them, on their academic achievement, gives them a higher likelihood to stay in school and perform better academically than children of someone who might be renting. So it could have other tangential benefits as well. Now, there is a higher cost to get into real estate as an investment. You know, if you invest in stocks or bonds, you may be able to put a lesser amount down. Typically with real estate, the minimum you can put down is somewhere around 3% unless you're a veteran, and you can then put down 0%. But there are different loan programs out there, so you have to talk to a lender about what could be right for you and what the minimum amount you could invest in a home might be in order to get a loan. How do you get started investing in real estate as a beginner? Well, it's super important that first you identify the type of property that you want to invest in. So are we going to invest in a residential property, multifamily, commercial, or industrial? Then you'll need to identify that property. Typically, this is where someone like a realtor would come into play and be able to help you identify that property. But you do need to think about the criteria of what you want to have in that property and what sort of returns you want to have. You're also going to need a lender on your side to figure out how much money you can get loaned to you in order to make that purchase. So you'll have to have a great lender on your side. According to a survey by Bigger Pockets, which is one of my favorite podcasts, the most popular way for beginners to finance their first investment property is usually through a conventional mortgage. So that would be through a lender or mortgage broker. That's 49% for beginner investors, followed by using personal savings, which is about 23% of investors, and then 11% use a private lender, or maybe someone who might have a higher interest rate but be able to loan money, or that could be getting money from friends and family that you pay back over time. Now, you'll have to figure out how you want to finance that, but then working with a real estate agent could be a great option because they can provide you a lot of guidance on what the market is like in certain areas, how much it's appreciating, how your investment will perform. And then obviously, if you are planning to rent it out, they can also help you determine rental rates in that area and see what you might be netting on that property. So it is important to pair up with a realtor and figure those things out as well. Last but not least, let's talk about some common mistakes that beginner investors could make that you need to think about to avoid. The first one being renovation costs. Again, Bigger Pockets, a great resource, a great podcast for you to listen to, says the most common mistake that real estate investors make is underestimating the renovation cost. 22% of investors make that mistake. So don't go into a house and think, oh, this is going to be really super easy to renovate. It's not going to cost me a whole lot of money, because oftentimes you're underestimating what you might need to put into that property. You want to make sure that you are working with that real estate agent, make sure you're running the comparables, make sure that you do the market analysis on the property, and that you're not actually overpaying for what you're getting in that property based on the neighborhood comps, how much money you're going to have to put in to renovate if you are at all, and then how much rent you're going to be getting if you're renting that property out. Last but not least, 16% according to BiggerPockets of investors do not do the proper due diligence. Making sure that you're walking through the neighborhood, understand what's around it, how the neighborhood has been growing or changing, or how the neighborhood has been appreciating, how you might manage that property later if you're not going to be living in it, how you might find tenants for the property, how you might make repairs. Do you have the right team around you to make those repairs? Not doing that proper due diligence from the beginning to figure out what is this going to take as an investment for me to manage, because real estate can be a lot more involved than something like a stock. You can buy a stock and let it sit forever. Real estate, you're going to have to do some maintenance and upkeep, and you're going to have the right people around to do that. So today we talked all about why investing in real estate is a great first move for a beginner investor. It is a super great vehicle to build wealth over time, build generational wealth, and ultimately be able to retire with property in your name and pass it on to your children or sell it off later as your guaranteed retirement fund. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so glad you joined me on this video about why investing in real estate is a great investment for beginners. Real estate can have a high yield return for you as an investor if you take the right steps and you do the research and make sure you're prepared going into it.